I had those situations, but most of the time when I make the step towards it, then apology comes,
Yeah.
you know. And thankfully I never had to do it. I did, and actually I'm writing this talk that I'm doing for Lent for here at the church, and where I came from, what happened, and I was very sick as a kid. I had a horrible skin disease, so I was bullied a lot because they called me a leper, and watch out, your ears don't fall off, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So once I knew how to fight, once I saw the Bruce Lee movie, I started training, and then I started training with adults. Another adult took me under the swing with Taekwondo, and I started dropping adults. And then I overheard these adults talking about me in the dressing room, and I never heard any positive feedback about myself. It was always negative. And suddenly these guys are telling each other that, my God, this kid Bas is really good, So then I got into a street fight with the biggest bully in town. They shouted against something with my leprosy, whatever they said, and this time I shouted something back. So they started to chase me, but I said, no, I'm not going to. I put my bike on the stand. They surrounded me with their bikes, like little kids, like in a badass movie. It's with cars, right in the middle of the night with the headlight. And this was with cars during the day. And then the biggest bully started bouncing his chest into me. I don't know what that meant. And then challenging me. So I knocked him out with one shot. And that changed 95% of the bullying. And then I started thinking, wait a minute. That guy bullied me. That guy bullied me. So I started putting down a list, making a list.
Kill
Bill.
And
I went after everybody. Yeah, I went after everybody. Some of them were so sad that I just slapped them with the hand. Because they would say, yeah, I don't even remember what I said. I said, but that's the worst thing.
What do you mean you went after them? Like, was it like a Taken thing? Like, did you track them down and then?
No, I know who they were. It was just in school. I would wait after school or in the break or whatever. I would say, hey, remember that? Bonk. And I would knock them out.
Wow.
I was so, what people don't realize, and what I tell everybody always, I guess, but thankfully I never got a beating because I was always physically strong, although I was very skinny, but I was always strong. But I think I rather would have a beating than words. Like the words that they say and the way they hurt you, that always stayed with me. Maybe like 10 years ago was finally then when I found out to shake certain trigger words still. If people would still say certain words that they said when I was a kid, I go, whoa, we got to relax, boss, but I want to knock the guy out.
Wow.
So then you can see what it does to you after 30, 40 years to still be inside your head just by saying certain things, So for him to say, I don't even remember what I said, yeah, that made me angry as well, of course. I go, because it really hurt me at the time. So that's why I tell people, watch out with words, It's you can ruin people with it.
Yeah. 100%. Dennis and I obviously know that ourselves firsthand, but it's funny because when you were in school and sort of getting your feet under you and learning martial arts, you would not have developed that reputation yet as this guy can, kick your ass. Eventually you would have, but once you were an MMA fighter, UFC champion and stuff like that, everybody knew Bas Rutten, he's not really a guy that you'd want to fight, unless it's in the octagon. Did you have that as an MMA fighter? You mentioned sometimes you would go up to people and then they would apologize. Is there a funny story where you went up to someone and you genuinely were going to kick their ass and then it almost came to it, but then didn't?
No. Listen, it's very hard to get a fight with me. I'm the guy who keeps apologizing and I say, hey, can you want a beer or something? I don't want to do this, and then, but until somebody starts thinking that I'm afraid, and then I look in their eyes and, they say something in a certain way. I go, whoa, I'm not saying this for me, dude. I'm saying this for you. I don't want to beat your face in and spend the night at the police station. I don't want to go over this, but I'm not afraid of you. I just don't want to fight. It makes no sense why we have to fight. If there's a reason, yeah, I will fight you. But this is so stupid what we're talking about. And most of the time when you talk like that, they realize, it is a stupid reason. When you go out, 90% of the fights are people who are drunk. Oh, he looked at my wife. Well, that's kind of a compliment. Did he touch her? No. Did he talk to her? No. I go, so you're angry because they looked at your wife. What? If they look at your wife, they go like, ooh, you want them to do that? No, of course not. Your wife is pretty and they look at your wife, so see it as a compliment. Now, once they start neglecting you and they know you're with that woman and then they still start coming on, now I can understand you're getting angry. But boy, everybody gets angry just because they look. It makes no sense. That's why as a bouncer, from the 10 fights there were 9 of them was no fight because I would always diffuse the situation. I would simply break it down. I would always say, what happened? And once you start breaking things down, everybody realizes, that was really stupid what we're doing. Until this day, I'm doing it. People in the car, if they keep honking the horn, if I don't drive right away after 2 seconds, I get out of the car. And I put my hands always up. I say, just want to talk. And I say, was that necessary? Wow. Was that really necessary? You couldn't go, bloop, you never make any mistake. And then they look at you and they go, yeah, I'm sorry, it's stupid. I go, that's the only thing I'm saying. Bye, have a great day. And then I'm off again,
Must be the tats on the hands.
Yeah. Yeah, some people, man. I had this guy here. I was standing on a hill behind him, and he was in a Corvette. One of the guys with the midlife crisis, the earring and the flat top hair, and all the, the pager and the tight shirt and belt. And I saw him looking in my mirror, in his mirror at me, and I go, "What is going on?" And then suddenly it turns green, and he keeps deadlocking in his mirror, looks at me, and he goes super slow. But I had a Panamera at the time, so I go, whoop, and I pass him, and I just drive on. Now he starts chasing me. So right away, I have to go in my neighborhood here. So I stop on the middle of the road to go in, and he's flashing his horn, so I get out of the car. And right away, when I walked up to him, he realized he misjudged the situation. I go, what's going on? You're shining your freaking lights in my car. I go, dude, I was standing on a hill behind you. Have you have any idea? And he's looking at me and go, yeah, think about that. I'm standing on a hill. What do you think is going to happen with you purposely think that you think I'm purposely try to beam my light in your car. For what would I do that? And while I was talking to him, he goes, yeah, that's really stupid. I go, just think, dude, just think. I mean, 10 years ago, this would have been a whole different conversation. I probably would have pulled you out of the car. I toned down a lot right now. So, and I just do that for them to not do it in the future anymore to other people because they can make a wrong decision with the wrong kind of guy and they're in trouble.